So in today's video, I'm going to talk you through where I'm going to take profits in this crypto bull run. I've seen lots of questions from people in our community talking about taking profits, what prices and all that sort of stuff. And I think that this market is very different. So let's dig right into it. Let's do it. So today's video is pre-recorded, so the prices might be different by the time we actually have this video go live. Currently, Bitcoin has, just a matter of hours ago, hit a new all-time high. Currently stands at 72,395.06, up 4.10% in the past 24 hours, but 9.29% in the last 7 days. The total market cap of crypto globally is up 4.10% and now stands at $2.73 trillion. It's quite remarkable, really. I don't think there's anybody that hand on heart can say they predicted the amount of gains in Bitcoin this early on into the cycle. I do think that this bull run is very different to what we've seen historically, and in this video we're going to sort of dig into my thoughts, my opinions on taking profits and all that wonderful stuff. So we're going to dig into that now. Let's sort of have a look here and just talk about what we should be expecting based on historical data when it comes to the Bitcoin halving. Now, the Bitcoin halving, I think, is 34 days, 11 hours and 48 minutes away, based on, obviously, when we're recording this video. This video is probably going to come out a couple of days after it's been recorded. So, you're going to be looking at, 32 days or so, right? But what we have seen traditionally, and I think this chart actually highlights it and demonstrates it pretty well, is in the lead up, we normally see the increased price of Bitcoin, but as you get close to the halving or just slightly after the halving, you see a bit of a pullback. So I do think that there are going to be some cheaper prices on the horizon, but this crypto market is wild at the moment. We're seeing the supply not really meeting the amount of demand, and that demand is just gobbling up all of the Bitcoin at the moment. So maybe we're going to see something a little bit different, but if we base everything on historic data, we tend to see a pullback in the short term when we approach or post the Bitcoin halving, and you can see that in this chart. So the first one in 2013, a bit of a pullback before the halving, and then we went off into the new all-time high a year later. And that's what we tend to see. We see the halving, and then a year later we post the all-time high. So I don't think that is likely to change. I think we're still going to see that, but there are a lot of things happening from an economic point of view, and I'll cover that in a moment. But let's just focus on the halving again. In 2016, the halving, we saw the pullback afterwards, and then we went off to set a new all-time high. In 2020, we saw a pullback just after the halving, really quite small on the chart here, but it's actually quite a lot percentage-wise. And then we're seeing the move up to the halving in 34 to 32 days from now. And, are we going to see the pullback like we've seen, historically? I really don't know is the answer. And I think anybody that makes out they do either has a crystal ball, which I don't think anybody does, or they're just talking out of their arse. And, I just don't see any way to be able to quantify whether it will or it won't. So I'm really 50-50, and it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. Do you think we're going to see a pullback in the market? I'm starting to think we won't, but it could very well happen. It's happened historically every time. So the Bitcoin halving here, coming up, I wanted to just sort of look at some of these charts, right? We still got a long way to go before we're well overheated. And I'm going to come on to where I'm planning on selling in a moment. We just want to look at a few more charts. We've got this one here talking about the cycles. Now, I do think that this is a a bigger cycle. I think it's it's going to be a longer cycle than we've seen historically. So I do think that a lot of this is going to be sort of, out of the window. I do think that we're seeing some real changes here, particularly with BlackRock talking about everything being tokenized. I think that, mainstream adoption is going to come pouring in. We're not talking about like a $69,000 Bitcoin and everybody, retail, mass adoption. We saw lots of new people coming in the crypto space, when we were almost at all-time high. We've surpassed that already, and we're not even at the Bitcoin halving. So we're going to be talking like 85, 90, 100K Bitcoin. And at that point, I think we're going to have lots of money driving in. We're already starting to see mainstream media like BBC, Sky News here in the UK starting to talk about Bitcoin more prominently. And again, it's just going to bring more people in. So I don't think we've even begun to see that adoption, that mainstream adoption come in just yet. We haven't even got pension funds allocating just yet to Bitcoin. So there's still a lot more upside potential. It's going to be really, really interesting. But the reason why everybody's tuned in is to get my views and opinions. Now, I am going to be selling my crypto for tax purposes in April, probably around the 7th or 8th of April. I'm going to sell my entire crypto portfolio and then I'm going to immediately buy it back. Why am I doing this? Well, I'm currently in the UK and I don't want the UK to be able to eat into the obscene amount of gains that I'm going to be making. So they are going to get some tax from me on my portfolio, but I'm going to buy it all back in the UAE, where I'm moving to in April. And that will give me a clean slate. It's tax-free over there, so I won't pay any more capital gains tax. And I will be out of the UK for a full 12 months. So that is kind of my initial plan for April, but I'm not really going to be selling until the end of 2024. I do expect a Fed pivot. I've said this for some time. If the Fed pivot happens in Q3, which is what I've been predicting, then, I'm probably not going to sell until later on into 2025. But there is a chance that the Fed won't pivot this year or before I look to sell. They might do it at the start of 2025 or the very end of 2024. If that happens, then, I'm going to be selling just before that happens. And then I'm expecting a big crash. So it's going to be interesting. These are moving targets. Things could change significantly between now and when I make those moves. If you want to be kept truly informed, check out 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗀𝗧𝗏.io. The link is in the description. Become a member. We list all our buys, our sells as we're making them. We have technical analysis on request for all of our members and much more, project reviews and ratings. There's just so much going on in there. Trading sector section with trading signals and all that sort of wonderful stuff. And, I'm not going to try to pitch it to you like heavy. Jump into the free Discord. Again, link is in the description, and ask members if it's worth joining. I think it's really competitively priced, and, we exceed the level of, perks and information and data of anybody else in this space, in my opinion. But, go ask the members and they will, they'll steer you as to whether it's worth it or not. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, mash up that like button, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, tap in that bell, selecting all the notifications so you never miss a video, and I will catch you in the next one. Take care.